Hello, everybody. Let's see. Can everybody hear me okay? Arpan, what's up? Good to see you. Let's see. Let's get the chat on here. Let's say hey to everybody. What's up, Bradley? What's up, Mohammed? Mode. What's up, DigitalOcean? What's up? Welcome, everybody. So today is going to be a pretty fun one. Peter, what's up? Brian Clark, welcome. So this one is something I think a lot of us have probably heard about, but haven't really used. Svelte hit the storm, what, a year and a half ago now? 2 years? I think it was 2019. And a lot of people that use Svelte absolutely love it. And a lot of people that don't use Svelte absolutely want to try it. So if you have used Svelte, let me know in the comments. If you have not, also let me know in the comments. What's up, Wasim? I guess I don't need these, huh? So, perfect. Welcome, everybody, to another beautiful Tech Talk day. Thanks so much for joining. We're going to be messing around with Svelte. Traditionally, I am a React developer. A little bit of Vue. I came from the Angular JS side of things. I'm actually a Google developer expert in Angular. But really messing around with React these days, especially Next.js. But I think to myself a lot, hey, React, you're supposed to help me out and do a lot of these really cool things, but you're actually making me write a lot of code. Like, let's say use state is one thing. Shouldn't I be able to update a variable and see it update in real time? Shouldn't reactivity be built out of the box instead of having to manually write use state? Svelte actually doesn't really need us to write anything like use state or store anything in state. It just knows, hey, if you change a variable, I'm going to update it for you. All right, what's up, Adsam? All right, let's get to it. So what I want to get into is start messing with Svelte. So this is the Svelte homepage. Very, very easy to read, very clean. I think this is one of their big reasons why they got so popular so quick. So cybernetically enhanced web apps. That's a cool tagline. So let's get to it. Write less code, all that good stuff. This is going to be your first look at a Svelte component. And the homepage and the docs do a fantastic job at this. So you're going to have a script tag, and you're going to have your template. Let's see. Hey, add Sam. So check that out really, really quick. And the thing that is a little different about Svelte than if you look at something like React or Vue is that Svelte runs at build time. So it builds out your entire application into JavaScript, and then you ship JavaScript to the browser. So the browser doesn't have to do some compile from React to just the JavaScript side of things. So if we look at the JS output, this is what we spit out to the browser, and this is what runs in the browser. And this is not something we'd want to write, but it does help us out. Yeah, Arpan says, wondering how this template stuff plays with TypeScript, since TypeScript also does something similar where it kind of runs at build time and builds out your JavaScript. The Svelte starter kit comes with TypeScript options out of the box. I personally haven't messed with it, but that'd be something we can look at. CSS is component scope. So you can read these docs. I think let's go and mess around with some stuff. So here's the REPL. And right here is right out of the box, the website for Svelte lets us build out applications right here. If you wanted something a little bit closer to production, you can go to Svelte.new, and that'll get you a brand new code sandbox with multiple files, exactly what you'd expect if you're about to go to production with this sort of stuff. So I will be working in this code sandbox, and if you want to do it, Svelte.new. But the REPL is also a great place to look. The tutorial is a really, really nice one, actually. The walkthrough, you go through introduction, reactivity, props, logic, events, really well done docs. So let's get into it. Anybody have questions? Arpan, thanks for the question. Anybody excited about Svelte? I'm pretty excited about where it could go. And then beyond this, we can do a talk on SvelteKit, which is the fully sized framework for Svelte. As much as like Next.js is to React, SvelteKit is to Svelte. So let's talk about the basics. Let me save this so we can fork it. And here we go. Here's our brand new code sandbox. And can I increase the size of this thing? Nope. Okay. So here's index.js. Svelte traditionally runs on rollup. So it builds out rollup. Oh, that's a good point, Arpan. Okay, let's see if we can do that in a bit. Let's go through some of the basics with Svelte. But it is true, React and TypeScript have gotten their thing down now at this point. So I really do like the feel of it. And especially because React is closer to vanilla JavaScript. You're just writing JavaScript functions. If you're writing stuff like this with TypeScript, we'll see how it goes, because I have had a little bit of problems with Vue in TypeScript since all of it is kind of in the same file. But if you talk about Svelte, you have a script tag, you have a style tag, and you have your template. In your template, which is interesting, is you don't even need to wrap it in one encompassing div or parent element like you would in React or Vue. You just kind of throw it all in. But the cool thing is these styles are already scoped to this template only. So these styles will not bleed out into any other location. So let's start talking about building out a little bit of Svelte. Let's drop that, and then let's drop our template. So let's say we had constant message is equal to, hey there, Arpan. And down here, we could just do like an H1 and say message. All right, so that is the basics there, just showing a variable. Let's see, does this work like JSX, where we can evaluate it as JavaScript? It does. So whatever we put in these curly brackets is going to be seen as JavaScript. So we'll have message here. And the cool thing about this is, let's talk about state and reactivity and updating our view. So in React, you would have to do something like const message set message is equal to use state, and you would give it a default value, right? In Svelte, you don't have to do any of that. This is how cool it is. Let me change this to a let. And let's create a button. And you'll get your first taste of an event handler. Update message. So to do an on click, you do on :click is equal to, and we'll do our brackets here, and we'll say e message is equal to what's up, Wasim. A little similar to what we see in React, where we use our JSX, I shouldn't call them JSX, our curly brackets, and we pass in an inline function to update our message. Let's do that, and automatically it updates. If you did the same example in React, it wouldn't work. And that's why this is cool, is you just have a variable and you update the variable and it works. So what's interesting is you think, oh, well, that kind of is common sense. But if you talk about Vue and you talk about React, this is not possible, right? To just update the variable, and Svelte automatically knows that the variable needs updating in the view. And I want to say this is the reason why it took the world by storm back in 2019, whenever it was released, is because it was so simple. And people were used to all of the things they had to write for React. And don't get me wrong, I still love React, but this is very promising stuff when you talk about the future of JavaScript frameworks. All right, let's see. We can also do name attributes. So let's do let image equal to, I don't have an image off the top of my hand, but we can go grab like HTTP, Unsplash, whatever we do. Let's go get one, unsplash.com. And I'm just going to pick out, I don't know, this thing. Copy image address right here. Let's go back to CodeSandbox and we'll paste that in. Gigantic line of text. And we can do image source is equal to image. And that works. So that's how we bind to attributes. We've been able to interpolate and just throw text right onto the screen. Let's see. All right, let's mess around with RPen's text right here. Message is equal to hello. And message is equal to world. So it looks like it doesn't want that. Oh, well, I guess you could do this if you wanted to. Break this out into a full multi-line function, and this should work. Let's get rid of that image. It's gigantic. So what RPen is saying is, can it handle two statements right here? Because of, I think what you're thinking is how React renders. Let's see. Yeah? Cool. So it was able to update twice. Message is turned into hello, and then message turned into world. And I think RPen, why you asked that question, is when you do a state update like that in React, it has to render the component twice because it runs the first time for the new update. It runs the second time for the second change. Here, I don't know what it did, but it did it really fast. So that's good to see. I wonder if it batches updates. Yeah, thanks, RPen. RPen said it. Cool, good question. We can also, as expected, bring this out. I got to get rid of that thing. We can also do as expected and say function update message like that. And then we can push all of this stuff right here into that. And then we can also call it just like that, update message. There we go. So we're able to organize our components a little bit more, just like that. Let's see what else. We've got dynamic attributes. We have styling. So if I put a style tag in here, like that, we can just say H1 is font size 80 pixels. There we go. RPen, you're famous today. Look at this. Okay, so that is pretty much the mains right there. We can also talk about building out multiple components. So let's go get a brand new component. Where's my files here? We have a button component, but what I'm going to do is go to new file right here, and we're going to call this, I don't know, the classic counter, but let's call it like, I don't know. How am I drawing such a blank on this? We'll just call it counter.svelte. Okay, so what's cool is we can just do the p tag. I am a new component. And then if we come back over to app.svelte, we can import it. Can't type today. Svelte. I wonder if we do need the extension. So let's go ahead and bring it in, and we'll use it as if it were a component. And there we go. I am a new component. So that's how we get multiple components. RPen, yes. We're going to go, so I guess the agenda for today is we're going to go talk about a little bit of the basics. We've done a little bit of templating. We've done a little bit of event handling. We've done a little bit of multiple components. So what I want to do next is do two main things I want to do next is one, talk a little bit more about templating, like if statements, hiding and showing things, looping with the templating language here. And then four, I want to get into components more and talk about how you can do props. So you're passing information from a parent to a child component. We can talk then about lifecycle events like mounted things and like mounted things and and effects like React's effects. Let's see. AdSem with a good question. If the file gets too long, can I separate the script, template, and style? I'm not entirely sure about that. I think the way that I know that Vue has a way to do it, but Vue and Svelte, their kind of benefit is you're throwing it all into one file, right? Single file components, which is really nice when you want to hand this off to another developer, maybe a designer, and you say, hey, you live in this file, don't touch anything else. I would say if your file gets to be too large, that's a good candidate to create another component and move a little bit of that logic out. Can you pass some parameters to function? Let's say two buttons using the same function, but with different parameters. Yes, we can. So we can do like message right here. And let's say that is the first one. Well, let's do message is equal to message. I don't know if I like that those are named the same thing. So we'll say new message. So that's updated. That looks good. We're going to have this button here. We're going to just break it out into an inline function like this. Second. And if you did need the event out of this thing, you could pull up the event first. All right, let's drop our pen size because it's getting in the way. Our pen. Okay, so update message first and second. There we go. Wasim says, can I use Tailwind CSS in Svelte in the same way I can do in React or vanilla JavaScript? Yes, you can. Let's go to Tailwind CSS installation. Let's see. Svelte isn't on their list right here, but Svelte does use rollup. And if you're using rollup, I imagine you can just bring in like post CSS and all that good stuff. But I would need to double check on that. And then the last question, and then we'll move forward with all the templating and stuff. But I love it. Keep the questions coming. This is fun. Am I not using my Vim key bindings? I am, but it actually does hurt a little bit because I am in CodeSandbox, so I don't have my Vim key bindings. I only have them in VS Code. So I am clicking around, not like I usually do. But yeah, normally Vim, all day Vim. Okay, so where were we? Let's talk about hiding and showing things. So I'm going to delete all this stuff. And we're going to say is logged in is equal to true. So let's make this a login button and a log out button. And just because we don't need it, I'm going to delete all this stuff right here. Yeah, Vim would make this so much nicer. And we'll delete that counter component. Okay, pretty simple setup right there. What we're going to do now is hide and show. So what we can do is we don't want both of these to show if a user is logged in, right? So we are going to do curly bracket, hashtag if logged in. And down here, you can end the if like that. Oh, sorry. Is logged in. And we can do the same here if not is logged in. So my take on this is, yeah, it's cool. I don't know. I personally am a fan of React's way of doing it, although I did not like React's way of doing it at first. But React's way is vanilla JavaScript, right? You're doing is logged in, and then you show the button, right? So that's JavaScript. This is their own templating thing, so it's a little bit different, but the benefit to this sort of way is if you have people that aren't JavaScript centric and you have more like designers on your team, this is a good fit. You can also break this out into else blocks. So you can do it like this. So if I'm logged in, it shows that. If I do false, it'll show log out. So that's a little bit more on the templating. Let's see what's next. Let's see, exagetl. Isn't that JSX, not JavaScript? I don't think this is JSX. What is their templating language? Docs. Oh, yes. Sorry. You're right. Yeah, the is logged in and is the JSX. Or sorry, that's JavaScript. I'm pretty sure that's called the logical and operator in JavaScript. Come here. Yeah, so this basically says if the left is true, then I'll show whatever's on the right, or I'll keep continuing the chain. Oh, then yes, you're right. Sorry. Then that part is JSX, but the part to do the logical and is JavaScript. So yeah, the mixture of JSX and JavaScript. Yes, late to the party. Will this be recorded and available for later? Yes, always. So these are always going to be recorded and they will be available here on the DigitalOcean YouTube channel. And while I'm doing plugs, if you guys like this, if you're having fun, if you could do us a favor and hit the like and subscribe button, really appreciate it. It lets YouTube know we're doing some good stuff. It lets me know I'm doing good. You're all good, Exagetl. I'm just happy everybody's in chat. This is fun. JSX is JavaScript. Yeah, now we get into forever loop. Cool. So let's see. The next thing that you probably want to look at when you're talking about new frameworks is how do you loop over an array? Because I know I'm doing a lot of React comparisons, and I think that's the right thing to do because most everyone is messing around with React lately. So to learn about a new framework, I think the React comparison is apt, especially when Svelte removes so much code that you need to write. But this is going to change. Svelte actually makes us write a little bit more code once we get to lifecycle stuff. So we'll see. So let's do const people is equal to, and I'll pull people out of chat here, of course. RPen's here, but let's go for, is it Peter? Peter? Let's say name is PJ. Oh, my other monitor is so tiny. Okay. Let's go for name is exagetl. Or is that IO? Galang, got you. All right. Galang is in here. And we'll do one more. We'll do for Sergio. All right, fine, RPen. We got Eric in here. Eric, who doesn't show anymore. Okay. Okay, I can't keep leaving you all out, so let's keep going. Name. All right, last one for sure. All right, how do we loop over this stuff in Svelte? In React, you are going to do a .map because if you have an array and you want to format it a different way, you're going to use a .map. If we're doing it here, let's go and do this. I really like this about Svelte that you don't need that parent element, right? You just throw stuff down there and it works. So the way we do this is, let's say we had an UL. And then inside, we want to loop over each person, show a different LI. So we're going to do hashtag each cats, each person as people. Oh, backwards. Person as, no, that's backwards. You want the plural on the left, people as person. And then we'll close out the each. I get confused with this because React does .map a certain way and Vue does it a different way. So I get confused. But now we can do our li and we can do person.name. Cool. So we're able to do that. We are even able to destructure this, or sorry, we're able to bring in an index like that. And let's see, what do I need to do here? Perfect. So we're able to bring in our index like that if we needed it. If we don't, we can just keep it like that. We also have the option to destructure out of that. So we can pull out name. And what's cool is in React and Vue, you need to put a key on each of these. So you got to do something like this. Key is equal to, or key is equal to, like that. And that's React's and Vue's way of making themselves efficient when they want to update that list. To do that in Svelte, check this out. You're going to say person, and then you just do in parentheses person.name or person.id, whatever is the key that you want to use. So now you're not really mucking up your template. You're more just like keeping it in the each statement. Let's see. Cool. All right, so that's looping. I think these are pretty good on the basics, right? I think we've gotten to most of the templating stuff. We've gotten now to looping in our templates. We've gotten to importing other components. Let's see, what else are we up to? We've done a little bit on events. So what we can do is let's start building out something a little bit larger, maybe something to go search the classic demo that I do, searching the Pokemon API, right? Yeah, let's do that. So what I want to do is write out some wishful coding. Where are we at? We're about halfway through. So let's clear all this out and let's see what a larger application looks like in Svelte. So to do this, I want to do a little bit of wishful coding. Let's say we are going to search the Pokemon PokeAPI.co. Thanks. Yeah, Pokemon API is just the classic. At this point, we need somebody else to come in. I know there's a Star Wars API, Swappy, but nothing's really as fun as the Pokemon API. So we're going to search the Pokemon API. So right here, we're going to have a search form. Right here, we are going to have a list of Pokemon. And let's say if we haven't searched, then get a list of 10 Pokemon. And then we can even make this a child component and say Pokemon list. I'm actually not sure if I want to do that yet. Arpan, I don't know what a Chris Sev API would do. It would just be me saying a bunch of times. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Galang, I missed this one. Is Svelte for a spa or multiple pages? Definitely both. Yeah. Yeah, like Peter says, impossible to import onto any page. So yes, you could probably bring this into pages. You would need rollup. You need something that would help run the build to compile your Svelte down to JavaScript code. So you would need something there. but I believe it's possible. And then when you want to do a larger Svelte application, you have SvelteKit, which is their fully sized framework, which we can talk about in another talk. Right on. Cool. So next up, where am I? Let's go back to our code sandbox. Okay. So to start, I don't want to start moving things into outside components just yet. Let's just throw everything into one. So let's do let q is equal to blank. So this will be our query. And then we're going to have a form. And we're going to do an input. Type is text. And let's do that. Okay, so how do we get this text to bind to that queue, the query? We'll call that query. Well, Svelte does this really cool. In React, you got to do a lot of writing for this. You got to do like on change is equal to, you got to e set query e dot target dot value. And then also then you bind it to value is equal to query. So this is where I think React can do a little bit more first. Like, I don't want to write all this every time. So here's Svelte's way, bind value to query. So now if we show the query down here like this, it automatically binds itself and we get our two-way data binding and we get our magic. Really nice stuff. Right on. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Hey, Akalash. Oh, coffee went down the wrong way. Joanna says Alpine is great in that too. Yes, Alpine is great in that. Vue is great in this. The only person that doesn't do two-way data binding this quickly is React, which is interesting. Okay, so we've bound that. Next up, let's go get a list of Pokemon and show them down here. So we're going to leave this for a second, and we're going to go down here. We're going to show our list of Pokemon first, and we're going to do that on mount. So this will be our first lifecycle method that we're seeing. Let me go grab my notes real quick. Sorry. All right, so first up, let's go get the Poke API URL that we need. Ooh, GraphQL for Poke API. Nice. Okay, so this one right here, Pokemon. I'm so sorry, everyone. Pokemon limit 10 offset. We don't need an offset, so we're going to keep this right here, and we're going to submit that. And down here, what it gives us is Pokemon limit equals 10, and let's see, results is our 10 Pokemon. So we're going to take this URL right here. We're going to go grab our Pokemon. So we're going to go up here, and we're going to say fetch. Sorry, we'll do an async function, get Pokemon. This. Oh, I missed Vim now. Const res equal to await fetch like this. Oh, let's go grab that again. Okay, so that's our URL. Then down here, const data is equal to await res.json. And then we are going to say, let's go get let Pokemon is equal to an empty array. And look how easy this is. Pokemon is equal to data.results. Okay, so we have our get Pokemon, but we need to call it on mount. So I'm wondering if this would work, get Pokemon. Does that work? Let's go inspect. Let's go check our network tab. Fetch. Let's refresh. And there we go. There's our Pokemon. So it works that way, but a better way to do this is to use the onMount. And I'm not sure what extra the onMount does. Probably helps with its bindings and stuff. So we have to go get import onMount from Svelte. And then we can say onMount, get Pokemon. So there we go. That is our first look at a lifecycle event in Svelte. So basically, you could do your own thing right there and just onMount async function like that. So you can inline it, but I think we're going to need that get Pokemon in a second. So I'm going to put that right there. All right. Any questions in chat? Let me go grab chat. Sergio says drink beer. It's a little early for me, but that probably would have solved the problem. Peter says, does it have something like RxJS? Yes, it does. I haven't looked at it too much myself. So tutorial, no, docs. Somewhere in here, is it Svelte or SvelteKit that has it? Transitions, come on. It might have been SvelteKit. Oh, here we go, stores. So let's see, where is the stores.js? You have this writable thing that Svelte store gives you. Let me zoom in. And then you can use that. So definitely something to use for, oh, you have to go down here and click show me, and then they like fix it all for you, and then it works. Cool. So definitely read the docs on that. We can probably go further into it if you want, into another tech talk. If you're all interested in more Svelte, let me know. Let's see. What's up, Seven? Good to see you here. The Svelte syntax is similar to Vue. Yes, it's more similar to Vue than it is to React. The index.js file, yes. So this is the one that comes out of the Svelte starter kit from CodeSandbox. And basically what it does is it just creates a new app component, and then it tells it where to target, where to inject it, which right now is just document.body. Cool. All right, so let's keep going. Let's make sure we can show a list of our Pokemon. So down here, we are going to say each Pokemon as, Pokemon. I do this every time. Single Pokemon. Ends the each. And then we're going to say Pokemon dot, oh, I don't even know what comes out of this API. Pokemon dot name, let's do. Does that want to show at all? Did we do something wrong? Pokemon is an array. Let's see, save that, refresh. Okay, so undefined a bunch of times, cool. So let's see, we did data.results as Pokemon. Oh, we need to do single Pokemon.name. Come on, Chris. There we go. So let's put them in a UL so they can be a little formatted, right? Cool. Okay, so on Mount, we are able to go get a list of 10 Pokemon right here. And then down here, once it's bound to that Pokemon variable, it just gets listed right here. So we're able to render it. Let's drop these for now, actually. All right, so not bad. So far we are able to go get everything. We're able to do it on Mount. We have two variables here. We are able to go get Pokemon, and everything works out as it should. So next up, let's go searching for Pokemon, and then we will update the Pokemon list, and then this should automatically update based on our search. So let's go ahead and create a new function, async function search Pokemon. Const res is equal to await fetch. Now we got to go get that. Const data is equal to await res.json, and then Pokemon is equal to data.results. So first thing we need to find is the API call that we need to make. And we also have the query, which we need to pass into here. So let's go up here. Let's say we wanted to search for Pokemon Ditto. So it looks like this is the whole URL right here. So I'm going to take this, paste that over here. Oops. And I'm using ES6 template strings right here so that once we are ready for the search, we just pass in query right there. And let me shrink that. Cool. So now if we do a search, it should go fetch that. It should get the query, and it should pass it through, and then it should bind Pokemon to data.results. What happens if I misspell it, though? Undefined. Once we get Ditto, it gets a whole object. Okay, I think we might need to mess around a little bit with our data. So let's go back over here. I don't think we can bind it to Pokemon because Pokemon is an array, but what we get here is a single Pokemon. So let's create a new variable. I'm already not liking this, but we can refactor in a second. Single Pokemon is equal to null. Or if I just don't do it, it'll just be like that. And then we can say single Pokemon. We can actually shorten this. Single Pokemon is equal to that. And then down here, what we can do is say on submit is equal to search Pokemon. Oops, search Pokemon. But I want to show you a really cool thing about a really cool thing about the way that we can do event handling. Sorry, I'm trying to just double check what I'm doing here. What we can do is instead of saying on submit, because we would need to go up here, we need to pull this out E, we would have to do e.preventDefault because an HTML form will by default refresh the page. We don't want that. We would do that. But another thing we could do is not have to deal with that and just say prevent default. Very similar to what you would see in Vue. But this sort of thing doesn't exist in React, which this is cool to have. Svelte doesn't have template, script, and style like Vue.js. Galang, it does. So we have the script right here. You can add on a style tag anywhere in here, style. And these styles will be scoped to this template, this file. But no, you don't need the template tag. Anywhere your template is, it just works, which is interesting. Okay, so we have that search Pokemon. So let's type in Ditto. And then if I click search or I press enter, which will trigger the submit, it should do a search, but we haven't shown that single Pokemon. So now we'll say down here, if single Pokemon, then we'll say single Pokemon. We'll look at the API there. .name is Ditto and .order. So let's use name and order. .name and single Pokemon .order. All right, so I'm going to put a button here, button, type of submit, just so it looks better. Search. All right, so also, if anybody has other Pokemon ideas besides Ditto, just throw them in chat. Ditto. I'll click search, and it searched for number 203, Ditto. Let's search for Pikachu. Search for Pikachu, and I'm going to drop this query one right here. Let's look at Bulbasaur. Search. Was number 1. Cool. So we're able to bind all of that stuff to our submit, prevent default, search Pokemon, and then if we found a Pokemon, then it does that right there. All right, that's looking pretty good. And we've built out, I know it's a really basic app, but the things that we learned here are a good setup for anything else we build. So I want to talk about something else. Let's say we wanted to bring this list out into a different component. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to create a new file called Pokemon list.svelte. Let's go back to app.svelte. Let's take this entire template right here, put it over here. And then let's go back over here and use it. Pokemon list. And then go up here. We need to import this. Import Pokemon list from Pokemon list. Joanna says, go get our Radicate. Okay. I will once we get all of these errors out of the way. Okay. So the problem here is Pokemon is not defined. And if I go to Pokemon list, Pokemon is not defined. It doesn't know where to get it. So in app.svelte, we have to pass that in as a prop. So down here, we just go Pokemon is equal to Pokemon. But Pokemon list doesn't know that it got something from a parent component. So the way you do this in Svelte, so this is props in Svelte, script tag, let Pokemon equal to an array. But it didn't work. So basically what it's saying is I have a local variable to this component called Pokemon, but I didn't know that I was supposed to get something from a parent. So to get something from a parent, you actually just do export, let Pokemon. And now it pulls from the parent component, and that's how you create props here. If you were talking about view, you would probably do like export your object, and you would say props, and you would give it Pokemon in that. If you were talking about React, you would pull it out of the arguments of your function, but this is how you do it in Svelte. All right, so now that that's working, let's go search for Radicate again. Where are we? Radicate is number, I'm going to guess, 72. Wow. I get it backwards. Let's see, add some very good questions. So if the parent component doesn't pass anything, does it default to an empty array? Yes. So that will default to an empty array because of that. So if I go over here and I don't pass anything, it should just be empty. There we go. But if I did delete this right here, there would be no default and it would break. Let's see, Peter, does it have the same restriction that prevents changing data passed down to a child component? Prevents changing data passed down to a child component. Are you saying can this component change any of the information? What's up, Zam? James, with the correct technical definition of it, yes. If you don't set a default value, it is undefined, and then this will try to loop over an undefined variable, which will break. Yes. So we have 10 minutes. So I want to talk about a little bit of, give me 2 seconds. Okay, so this is something I wasn't sure I wanted to deal with in this talk, but it sounds like there's questions of it. How do we get a child component to update the state of a parent component? I think that's what you're asking, Peter. Um, and if that's not what you're asking, I'm sorry, but this is important to talk about. So right now, this is how you get props in a component. But how do we update parent information? So in React, you would pass down the setter function as a prop, which I actually really like that approach. I think it's simpler. The way that Vue does it and Angular does it is you create an event dispatcher from the child component itself. So like in here, let's say we had Pokemon list like this, you would create like, let's say on click, right? And that's how you handle an event. But now you can create custom events for a component. Like let's say we did on new Pokemon. Then you would handle that somehow here. And what we would do over here is we would create an event dispatcher. And let me show you how to do that. It's not my favorite thing. Import create event dispatcher. Dispatcher is equal from Svelte. And then what you do here is you say function. What did we call it? We'll call it create new Pokemon. And then you dispatch, and then the event name, which we called new Pokemon at the parent level. And then you pass in the data. So it would be like Pokemon is equal to an array of name is Raticate. So let's see if we can get this to work. And then we'll have a button here on click is equal to create. No, my naming is a little weird. And this isn't very practical, but I just wanted to demonstrate what it looks like. Okay, so this is why I don't really like this way of doing it is you do a lot more writing at the child component level, which makes sense because the component is now self-compartmentalized. Now it handles its inputs and its own outputs. But here, if I go up to here on new Pokemon, then I'm going to get the, well, let's see let's see what comes out of this thing. Console.log data. And let's go open our console. Let's clear this thing out. And let's go down here and click. I am cramped for space. Come on. Update Pokemon. Dispatch is not defined. Oh, I missed a step. It's even worse than I thought. Okay, so const dispatch is equal to create event dispatcher. All right, so now if I go over here, update Pokemon, now it throws out the custom event, type new Pokemon, target, detail is the object. Okay, so it's in detail that we want it. So if we go back to app.svelte on new Pokemon, we're going to go data. So we're going to say Pokemon is equal to data.detail.pokemon. All right. If I click update Pokemon, this list should update to only Raticate. There we go. Okay. Let me come back to chat because I wonder if you're all screaming at me already. Peter says, yes, you can decouple the logic. You can use central storage. That would work. Zam, you are correct. You use events. Can you mutate the props? Yeah, it would be like try to put it in global storage, or you could use an event dispatcher like this thing. Or if you needed it just for formatting, you could just const formatted Pokemon is equal to, and then just like Pokemon.map here. And then you could loop over formatted Pokemon like that. Cool. All right. So I think Kong says, can you do that with React? Yes. So real quick, and this is the last thing we're going to do. So if you have any more questions, please throw them in chat. I'm going to show this off, and then we'll get to questions, and then we'll wrap it up. So this, I'm not a big fan of this way of doing things, of creating the event dispatcher. Like, I get it, but I got to write a lot. And Svelte's big sell was write less to me. So yeah, you write less than React when you talk about updating state, but when you talk about event dispatchers, when you talk about like the onMount thing right here, you're writing a little bit more again. So I'm not sure, you trade-offs. To do this in React, React.new. So let's say I had const Pokemon, set Pokemon is equal to use state, and that would start as an empty array. Let's say I had a child component called Pokemon list. You would pass in Pokemon like this. And then instead of actually listening for like on new Pokemon, like we did earlier, you just do set Pokemon is equal to set Pokemon. So you pass down the setter, and then your function Pokemon list would get Pokemon and set Pokemon. And then down here, it would just use the set Pokemon function. So in that way, it doesn't have to create its own dispatcher. You just pass it the function to update state. And I like this way of doing it. I think it's less writing. All right. So how are we doing in chat? Let's see how everybody's doing. And we'll wrap it up. I hope this was helpful. Please let me know if you like this. And again, if you did like this, like or subscribe. Helps us out. Helps me out. Next.js. I do have some previous Next.js talks on this YouTube channel. So if you just search for Next.js, you should be able to find them. In case your component is within another component, and then there would be issues passing events. There's uproot, but yes. Peter, yeah, you're right. There's a problem called prop drilling in React, I guess in all component-based things, where you have to pass things down multiple times. You would have to create multiple event dispatchers to do it, which I think is going to be a lot of writing and really hard to understand. Yusuf, in Vue, you just emit an event with data. Yes, that's true. You can pass the setter. I don't know if you can pass the setter in Svelte, because if you look at all the docs as far as components are concerned, it tells you to create the dispatcher. Let me look for a second. Oh, what's cool, I just found it in the docs, is what Peter was asking. Let me pull up our docs. So in the docs, there's something called event forwarding. And what I'm in examples right now under event forwarding is if you had an outer component right here, the outer component doesn't create the event dispatcher. The inner component does create the event dispatcher though, and you can pass it back up the chain by just going on message here, and then it passes it up to app.svelte, and then you can handle it in app.svelte. So that's nice to see. Galang, you're very welcome. Here we are up on the 1 hour. I hope you enjoyed our little tour of Svelte. If you do enjoy this, let me know. We'll do more. I know that SvelteKit is really popular these days. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. And if we don't have any more questions, I think we'll wrap it up and we'll call it a day. And everybody have a great rest of your day. And I will see you in the next one. I have one scheduled. I don't remember anymore. But Brian, thanks for hanging out. Adsum, thanks for hanging out. Peter, thanks for being here and all the questions. Galang, you as well. Kong, Zam, Arpan, if you're still hanging around. Right on, Kong. Yeah, will I use Svelte for anything moving forward? I don't think, personally for me, I'm not going to jump off of the React train yet. I may try it for some more small apps, but I do like that. I do love the ecosystem that React has. Like if you search for React charting, there's going to be a library. The question for new frameworks is the community supporting it with external libraries? And we have some growth, and we'll see where it goes. All right. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you next time.